How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Nerdy Jock Talk. I'm the Nerdy Jock, Nick Angle. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode. I'm sorry I was gone for a little longer than I was planning to, but things happen. I have children, and Mother's Day was going on, so I wasn't really gonna, interrupt that. While I've got you here, do me a favor, hit that like button, smack that subscribe. Again, it really helps me out, gets these videos a little bit more seen, and really, builds the channel. So thank you very much. Okay, lots to get into, guys. This past weekend was a record-setting weekend, and not just in sports, but in the Nerdverse as well. Right into it, Resident Evil: The Village came out this weekend and set a record on Twitch with having over 100,000 people streaming the game at the same time. That's right, 100,000 people were streaming this game all at the same time. How do you even find somebody that you like in that mess? It's crazy. Now, I have watched some of the gameplay. The game looks phenomenal. The setting, the scenery, everything looks gorgeous. Obviously, everyone is loving the big booba. It's a really cool game. Now, it did kind of remind me, it's somewhere in between of like Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 7. It doesn't seem as scary though, and from what I've read, they've actually dialed back the pop in your face scariness because apparently, I guess last time in Resident Evil 7 it was like too scary for people. But then why the hell are you playing the game if you don't want to be scared? Kind of the point of the whole thing. Just my opinion. Also, I guess not so much this weekend, but I did notice it this weekend. Kind of sneakily, The Bad Batch came out on Disney Plus. The Star Wars saga continues, if you will. That the story of the Clone Wars. There was a group of soldiers called the Bad Batch. They've now done their own little cartoon. So if you've enjoyed Star Wars Clone Wars, this is a continuation of that story with this group of clones that are genetically engineered to be better at certain things. It's a great little story. I've watched the first couple episodes, and I'm a fan of Star Wars, and so this continuation, a little bit more lore into Star Wars, opening up the universe, has been really kind of neat. And so I'm interested to see where it's going. Now, I do want to ask you guys, if you can go ahead and hit the comments below with this, Star Wars or Star Trek? I mean, really, at the end of the day, I kind of want to know. I like both, but like, why is there so much hate between the two? Guys, it's fantasy. I will also say why Star Wars and Star Trek, and what do you like, but also what's your favorite Star Trek show? Because I get a lot of flack over the fact that I really like Enterprise, and I know there's a lot of people who don't. But when Enterprise came out, obviously it didn't run as long as some of the other ones, but I mean, man, I could watch that show all the time. That I just think it's a great show. I think it's just fantastic in what it was doing. Obviously, next gen, but yeah, I don't know. Enterprise for me is just fantastic. Big news out of the video game world. I'm really kind of interested to see how it's going to translate, but Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance is coming out now on PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. Now, if you don't know that game, it came out a few years back. I played a ton of it. It was such a cool game. I loved the fact that you were basically over top. You're in Baldur's Gate, which is part of the D&D universe, the Sword Coast. And it's just, I don't know. I'm really excited to see it on the new generation consoles. I wonder if the graphics will be updated a little bit, but I just like the fact that you're kind of over top. I played it so much. I have such fond memories of it, so I'm really excited to see it coming out on the new consoles. Also in the news, Blade is finally going to start filming in July of 2022. Yeah, that's right. A bit of a ways away, but I'm really glad that Marvel is going to be producing this movie. Obviously, I love the Blades before with Wesley Snipes. I thought they did a good job with this. I just think now bringing the Marvel Universe with it, I think there's just going to be more to it. I mean, the acting choice, you cannot go wrong. So really interested to see really interested to see where they're going to go with this story and who they're going to bring in as well. Because being part of the MCU now, you can bring in different characters. And I mean, I remember reading some comic books where Spider-Man and Blade were teaming up. So maybe, we'll see. I don't know. All right, with the release of Venom, Let There Be Carnage trailer, holy cow, man, this Woody Harrelson, such a cool choice for this role. And with Venom, the fact that they're doing another one, I really think now, especially with today's world, we get a little bit fatigued on things. And with the superhero genre, if you will, I think we got a little bit fatigued with all of the superhero stuff coming out, that we're starting to look now at the anti-hero and characters that have a little bit more depth to them, and what can we see from the bad guy, you know? Look, with Venom coming out off the back of The Boys, for instance, where they're not, you know, they're superheroes, but they're kind of bad, with Invincible, Jupiter Legacy that just came out as well on Netflix. Gotta start checking that out too. I just really am intrigued on this is the direction that they're starting to go. And I get it. I mean, Batman was a big fave of mine. He was a character that had some more depth, that had some more intrigue to him, because he's, you know, tortured life and everything. So it's kind of cool to, you know, be going in these directions with superheroes that, like, they're not squeaky clean, they're not clean cut, they're not Captain America, they're not Superman. It's an interesting look and dive into superheroes. And on that, the game of the week. Game of the week, game of the week. Game of the week, folks. That's right, it's back for another installment. The game of the week, actually, going off of that idea of, you know, superheroes and anti-heroes and, you know, them not being quite the good guys all the time. The Reckoners. That's right, the Reckoners. If you don't know what this game is, it's actually a co-op game where you, as, well, you're not a regular citizen, but you're just a normal guy. You're not a superhero, and you're using technology and other things at your disposal, and you're actually taking on superheroes. Yes, superheroes have gone rogue. They've gone bad, people. Now, they're not superheroes that we know. They are in the game itself, and they've got some interesting powers. There's one sort of like Superman, he's the big bad. But a really cool game. A friend of mine actually just got the new Kickstarter. It's coming in for the expansion of the Reckoners. It's just awesome. It's a really fun co-op game, and you guys need to check it out. It's super cool. Last but not least, in the Nerdverse, we got our first look at the House of Dragons. That's right. Game of Thrones. It's got its prequel. It's finally, you know, on its way, and really cool. I'm going to throw these up actually right now, but we've got our first look at these images, and it looks cool. I mean, it doesn't look all that out of place from the original. You know, a lot of people in white hair, probably some sibling issues going on as well in this one. But, you know, hey, man, bring on more stuff for Game of Thrones, because the way it ended, I'm not a huge fan of, so maybe they can do something else with this. Of course, there's no real source material, I don't think, so it's going to be a lot of freewheeling, apparently. All right, like I said, this weekend in sports, I mean, just records were being set left, right, and center. And let's start, actually, with the F1 race on Sunday. Lewis Hamilton set another record, 100 pole positions for him. And then the race happened, and boom, Verstappen makes a move at the first corner. I mean, it was fantastic. But then Lewis Hamilton is Lewis Hamilton, and Mercedes is Mercedes. And quite frankly, I know what I said at the beginning, and we're only a few races in, so, you know, there's still a long way to go. But I don't think Verstappen is going to get the Drivers' Championship until Red Bull figures things out. Like, how do you not have a strategy or put your best foot forward? I don't know, something. You got to put your driver in a position to win the race, because Verstappen can win races in that car. But when you have somebody like Christian Horner who rules the roost, I mean, I just don't think he puts the right people in the right position. Whereas Toto Wolff, I mean, yes, it is his team. It's his show. He has arguably the best driver ever on his team. But I don't know, he's just got the right people in the right spot. And there seems to be more collaboration. And they just, I don't know, they just seem to be doing it better. Jesus, it just, maybe he just needs to wait for Lewis to retire. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Playoff hockey is happening. That's right. The regular season's winding down. I'm growing a playoff beard. Yes, I know. It's a little early. I get it, okay? But I don't know how long the Habs are going to be in the bloody playoffs. And quite frankly, I'm follically challenged. So I need to start growing now in order to get something by the time the playoffs start. Which is, by the way, this weekend. Yeah, they're starting it off. Boston and Washington. Chara gets to play against his old team in the playoffs. That'll be interesting. In hockey news, though, talking about record-setting, Matthews, 40 goals. Crazy. Unreal. Only to be topped by McDavid doing 100 points in 53 games. Are you kidding me?
Flip a pass through, was broken up out to Nurse. He'll trade places with McDavid, feed him again. Over to Draisaitl, one-timer scores! And there's Connor McDavid's 100th point! Draisaitl and Nurse come to him, wrap him up in an embrace. The Oilers have regained the lead at 4-3, and the century mark has been achieved in game 53 by the captain, Connor McDavid.
Are you kidding me? 100 points in 53 games? In today's NHL. Now I get it, and I've said it. This division isn't very good. But then why the hell isn't anybody else doing it? Yeah, it's hard to get points. It's hard to score goals. Now, speaking of the NHL and the playoffs coming, obviously the awards are starting to come out. Now, we do know that McDavid is going to get the Hart, but we don't know if he's going to be unanimously selected for the Hart. He should be unanimously selected for the Hart and the Ted Lindsay. That's right, the MVP done by the Players Association. But to look at these two guys, I mean, it's a lot of fun, and it reminds me back when it was Sidney Crosby and Alexander Ovechkin. However, there's a difference. Connor McDavid, let me get in here, plays on another level. Yeah, he plays on a different plane of existence compared to anybody else in the league. And I think, really, this is probably maybe not the first time, but arguably, this is one of the only times that hockey can honestly say that we have, I want to say, like, one of the best athletes in North American sports. Like, you can make a case for Patrick Mahomes and even Mike Trout, for instance. I mean, football is difficult because there's a lot of players on the team. But in a team sport, Connor McDavid is so far and above everybody else. I mean, it's Mike Trout-esque. But I honestly think there's a legitimate, a legitimate argument to say that he's the best athlete in North American sports right now. I'm not including soccer in Europe and all that other stuff, and we can talk Cristiano Ronaldo and you can talk whatever. But this guy is just, he's a league of his own. He is in a class of his own. He does things at speed that you just don't see people do. And when you watch this guy skate, wow. Just wow. It's just fun to watch. And as a fan of the game, you got to appreciate it. You got to appreciate what he's doing. And I know Leaf fans for a while there, they were like, Austin Matthews can win the Hart. No, he can't. He's not going to win the Hart. Not while McDavid is doing what he's doing. Not while McDavid exists. Okay? It's just not going to happen. I don't care how many bloody goals you score. The guy has more assists than most guys have points. Okay? It's crazy. Speaking of hockey and awards, I want to talk about one that actually intrigues me. The other ones, I mean, we're done, right? I mean, even the Norris is like, meh. The one that I'm actually looking at is the Vezina. And the reason why I'm looking at the Vezina is I guess all of us, were pretty strapped in with Vasilevsky going to win the Vezina. But can there not be a case made for Semyon Varlamov? I mean, when you look at it, better goals against average, better save percentage, and he has 7 shutouts in that division that he's in with Pittsburgh and Washington and Boston. He's got 7 shutouts. Now, I know he hasn't played as many games. Okay. But still, like, look at what he's done. I think he's got my vote. If I was voting, I think I'd vote Semyon Varlamov for the Vezina. Yeah, that's the thing. Down to baseball. Yes, baseball is happening. Really, really cool season so far, actually. And this is why I love baseball.
Drive to right, slicing away from Stokes on the run toward the line. That ball is a sliding catch. Did Stokes make the catch? He did. Excellent play by a guy in his first big league game.
On the big league roster, get him in there to figure out what you got. Wow, what a play by Madsen! Oh, man! Worth another couple of looks of Gold Glove play for the Braves all around the horn.
Wide to right field, Renfroe back to the wall. Leaping, and he makes the play.
Oh, how about that?
A little style there as well for out number 2. Back up the middle. Nice play from his knees. Urias, what a play!
Nice. Luis Urias with a gem defensively for out number 2.
Drives one deep to right. Conforto back near the wall. Leaps, and he makes the catch! Oh, wow! Michael Conforto playing a Gold Glove caliber right field. Makes another tremendous play.
And this is why I hate baseball. Angel Hernandez is in the news again for, survey says, blowing another call. At what point does anybody step in and just show this guy the door? Just somebody. The fact that he admits that he guessed on a fly ball to the outfield. You guessed? You tossed a coin? Like, what is happening? And how is it that he's always in the middle of everything? At some point, this guy's got to go. I think he's universally hated across the league. I don't think there's anybody who actually likes this guy. But speaking of the league, wow, there are some cool races going on. And interesting how time, just a little bit, can change things. The Jays were in second place. Now, they're in second last. I mean, they're still above 500. Fair enough. But the AL East never disappoints, does it? It's going to be a tight race, I think, for the foreseeable future. But every single division is, they're minus a couple teams. Everybody's within a couple of games. Now, I get it. It's early, and that's the famous saying in baseball. It's early. And things can certainly change. But this year, just, I don't know, it just seems better. It seems like there's more competition. There's just better games going on, and it's fun to watch baseball again, at least for me. Now, Vladimir Guerrero is in a mini slump, so every good player, everybody, they go through slumps. They go through mini slumps. It's adjustments. Hitters doing well, pitchers adjust. Pitchers start striking you out, you as a hitter start to adjust. It's just a game of adjustments. So we'll see. If he's as good as we think he is, and if he is as good as everything says he's supposed to be, then he'll make the adjustment and he'll figure it out, and we'll just keep right on rolling because he's awesome. But who else is awesome? Tatis Jr., because he just keeps doing this.
Peace and love.
Posey back to the 2. This is driven in the air towards deep left center field. That ball is back, and Nando has left the yard. A 2-run home run for Fernando Tatis Jr., his 9th of the year, and the Padres out to a 4-0 lead.
Don't throw it there, because you know what's going to happen. Don't. Oh, he did. Hanging, breaking ball. And this is not a cheapie. That's like halfway up the bleachers in left center field.
I mean, I dig home runs, and I get that they are hard to hit, but this guy just makes it look easy. Whoosh. Well, that's it for me, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thank you very much, Deadpool, for being here. Remember, hit that like button, smack that subscribe, and always keep in mind, everybody, it's always game time, baby. Let's go!